All right, here we go. Thursday, late night happy hour, legal pod. We'll get into a bunch of sports and then some other legal issues. Justin Watkins will be along from Battleborn Injury Lawyers in just a few minutes. Adam Hill is here. We do have to spend a couple of minutes about Thursday night football. Boy, I found the end of the game very entertaining because I had money in different spots. So I'll tell you what happened to me. That doesn't sound very good, right? What happened to me at the end of the game? Much of the game was just a freaking disaster. And again, lesson learned. I guess, the NFL gets two of the bigger markets and the audience, and before both of these teams have 5-10 records or whatever with the tie with the Eagles, they get somewhat of an audience, but the rest of the country is just laughing at how bad the NFC East is. So Justin Watkins is here. See if you can hear us, Justin. But I just wanted to run this Danny Jones play here. 80-yard run. He fizzles out. It's funny. Adam and Petro did the Wednesday show last week, and I really didn't catch much of it. But I happened to click on a part where I think Petro was talking about the radio deals for NFL teams. And I swear Petro was making the case that no one listens to the to football on the radio. And as I was watching, I'm like, I do. I really, you know that, Adam, right? I'm not going out of my way to listen to the games, but when I'm out and about, I listen to a lot of play-by-play on the radio, and I have a real appreciation for it. And there are people I hate, and the stuff that bothers me. So I just want to compare the Danny Dimes call here. This is TV with Joe Buck, and then you can hear Ian Eagle on the radio side. But yeah, you can watch the play here, and we can kind of speculate as to what the hell happened.
Gets a block. Takes off and trying to stay upright, and he trips.
Oh my God. Now we found out he didn't trip on his own.
So good.
So good.
My favorite part of the play isn't that he fell down. I mean, I guess that can happen. Is that he was falling down for so long. You could see it coming. It's started around midfield, and you're like, he's not going to make it. He's just not going to make it. It's not like he stumbled at some point. He was just trying to hold on for dear life for 30 yards and then just couldn't make it any longer. But it would have been a lot funnier if they didn't score. That would have been great.
How bad and out of position is your defense that a guy is basically falling from the 45 on and you still really didn't catch him? He still got another 25 yards.
Sorry, I thought Justin was talking. You were just sneezing. That's good.
Yeah, sneezing.
I had a lot of sneezes today too. It's not a good time. But I'm interested to know. I want to watch the post game a little bit, see if they talk about it. But I don't know if that was a design play or if he just continued. Do you have the beginning of the play? It seemed like he just saw that nobody was on that side of the field.
Here's Ian Eagle doing radio, but keep going.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, if nobody's going to play on that entire side of the field, I'm just going to go run over there.
But they're playing.
Hold on. Actually, I have to punch it up.
Because I just don't know that you would call that play at that where they were on the field.
But they're playing to the scouting report. Shotgun formation. Jones fakes it.
Nah.
That was an RPO. Yeah, it was an RPO. Yeah, you're right.
Just that no one's on that side of the field. And
they all went for it.
A corner or safety is ISO'd on what? Is that Ingram? Who, by the way, is that Ingram? 88? Anyway.
Yeah.
Special moment later in the game. We'll talk about Evan Ingram.
Now he runs. He's got a huge hole. 25-30. And there he goes. Daniel Jones stumbles down at the 15. He could not get there. Running out of gas. Jones had nothing but green grass in front of him. And that typifies what this has been all about. He is down at the 8.
It's a good call.
Yeah. Well, everybody just went for the fake though.
Yeah, look at everyone everyone's going to the left. So it's basically a one on none with a blocker in front of him.
Yeah.
I don't know why everybody says he ran out of gas. It's not like he got tired.
No.
He just tripped. He just got so nervous about being in the open field, he just fell down.
He's just clumsy.
Yeah.
Look at that stride. That stride, I think, is what fucked him up. It's like a long stride. But the funny thing is, he's falling down, and the guy on the top of the screen, I can't see the number, with 21. Like Jones is falling down. He's still not really catching him.
Daniel Jones.
Like he is falling, and they're not gaining much ground on him. I mean, you can see with Daniel Jones, there is some natural athleticism with him, but my God,
Dude, he's a human turnover.
It's unbelievable. Is it 20 now in 20 games?
Yes.
Right? It's 20 turnovers in 20 games. And I mean, to me, there were so many stories in the fourth quarter was crazy. Strategy was crazy. The offensive line play was so bad for the first 2.5 quarters. Like it was both guys, every time they drop back, like it was just folding on them, both quarterbacks. It was nuts. And then Daniel Jones, I get in some ways was like the more responsible guy. I mean, you get the good and the bad with Wentz because he's going to freaking throw it all over the yard, but he's going to make mistakes. Eventually he's going to make some big plays. So Eagles win it. By the way, so on this game, I talked about playing Giants +5, but of course I didn't do that. So I did the Giants alternate line -3.5, right? Okay. I'm in good shape, right? -3.5. And the total was 44.5, and the Eagles missed 2-point conversions. So I don't get the over, and I don't get the alternate line, and I didn't bet what I said on the air, +5 Giants. So congrats to me. That's why I'm a terrible bettor.
Yeah, I ended up not betting anything, even in game.
Why?
Because I was so just intrigued by the mess that I was watching. So it was like it was entertaining. You could be a disaster of a game and still be entertaining. I thought it was a highly entertaining football game. Yep. It was one of those games, and I'll tell you honestly, the only time I really wanted to bet is when the Eagles were down 2 scores in the fourth quarter. I was going to take the Eagles, and I actually got caught up in the debate and didn't jump onto my phone to make the bet. So I would have won, but
Giants were -8.5 at that point. So obviously the Eagles, you would have gotten 8.5 and easy win. Well, easy cover, and they win outright. I wonder what the money line.
I would have taken money line.
I wonder what the money line was at that point. Anyone bet it when they were down 2 scores? By the way, let's see. I think it's this year. Teams ahead by 2 scores with 5 minutes left in the game are now 56-3. Giants are one of the 3.
Nice.
Lions and Falcons pulled off defeat. Up by, did I see 2 scores? Up by double digits, 5 minutes left, 56-3. Giants lost. They're one of the 3. Nice job. And that's also, if I'm correct, that's 15 straight losses as an organization for the Giants against the Eagles and Cowboys combined. Like, you're not talking about, 13-win teams on the other side either. Like, the Eagles are having trouble as an organization, and the Cowboys are a freaking disaster, and the Giants, terrible.
I can call up comments. I'm happy.
Yeah, there you go. We got a lot of them, so. That's right. You can control things now. Now we have to control. Let's see. Cam came in with howdy. God, this makes me what? Actually, let's be honest. If you're a Giants fan, you're actually happy with the outcome.
Sure.
Like this is really what you need to do, right?
Right. The ideal situation is you play well.
You need to finish with a top 5 pick. Yeah, you're close, and but you need a top 5 pick, and you need more linemen. So don't win.
Oh, Andrew Thomas. My God, man.
Holy shit.
What is he doing?
Good move, man. Another good move by Gettleman because Tristan Wirfs looks like he sucks, doesn't he? And he went after him. Dumbass. Yeah, Gettleman.
Well,
Gettleman.
And I still think Becton is going to be good when he gets healthy.
Yeah.
The guy can't stay healthy. It's incredible.
He's motivated Trent Brown, who will wear the tracker. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but he's also, it's tough for the big fellas to stay healthy, and he is a big fella.
So, Justin, what's your opinion of what happened today? The latest news with the Raiders with, COVID nightmare here. And as I put it on the air, and I'll say it again, we as Las Vegas lost a prime time advertising slot, Sunday Night Football. That blows. That's damage when you spend $750 million of public money on a stadium. Like, you need every one of those primetime spots.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate. And like I was listening to you guys yesterday talking about, just being a good community partner as a pro sports team. And, I think this is an opportunity to be a good community partner. And if they're not, I don't know, man, if they're not taking care of themselves, if they're not taking this seriously and they're getting out into the community, it makes it hard for the people in transition like me to become fans of it.
Yep. This is what I was talking about in the air today too. So they have
What?
Yeah, I think Andrew
Oh,
Thomas
God.
could start. Yes, they need anyone. You could start, Aaron.
Yeah. You got the JV team. You got the JV team. This is one of the stories I addressed today as well. There's an SNF Grill, a Sunday Night Football grill that is coming into town. They were booked Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so I'm assuming they did Wednesday and Thursday, but they go and feed frontline workers, and now the Raiders screwed that too. I forgot. Let's see where they were booked tomorrow. They were booked today or yesterday was an oncology clinic on Arby. Today was Clark County Fire Department, who got jerked tomorrow. Oh, good. 3 Square Food Bank tomorrow from 11 to 1. Maybe they can still do it and make it to Zona, but maybe they just said F this and they bolted out of town with the SNF grill. Annoying.
LV Pickle Gamer, what's up, man? First of all, but I actually was discussing this today.
What were you discussing?
So
You're going to return to the O-line?
Well, around the pressure, because we were talking it out that it's a very convoluted rule, but there is a rule that makes it appear that you have to have 8 offensive linemen, like that you just have to have them active on Sunday, like it's a requirement for the game. Now, if you really break down the rule and get into it, it's actually not true. You need to have 7, but if you have 7, then you can only have 47 active players. Like you can't only have 7 linemen and have extra guys elsewhere. So they will be a man short if they only go in with 7 because they only have 5 active linemen right now. There's 2 on the practice squad. So now you got 7. So the 5 that are on the COVID list right now, if they don't return, and they should be able to return as long as there's no more positive. If they don't return, they only have 7. It was going to be an illegal roster, and there was the conversation going on. Like, all right, wait, you've been in the testing program every day, right? Like, could we just throw a uniform on? Like,
is the Adam Hill dream scenario roster violation? Adam Hill's going to be the e-bug of the offensive line for the Raiders. He's the emergency backup goalie coming out of the stands.
Exactly.
The offensive line,
Yes.
throw on the uni and get out there.
because they can't sign anybody.
Right.
So it's a 6-day process with the COVID protocols to get somebody signed. So they're not going to be able to sign anybody. So they've got what they've got.
Yeah, I'd be curious. Would you if you're protecting David Carr's, blind side, are you letting people through? You let it happen?
No, I think if I sign, I got to play my best, right?
That's right. You got to,
Yeah. Yes.
do your best out there. But you don't like conflict or contact.
See like Levante David coming out on a blitz. I'd be like, oh, fuck.
Never mind.
What am I gonna do? Yeah, nothing. I'm just gonna Hey, go block JPP. Like, all right.
The 5 Ds are done to all.
Yes. It's insane.
You have any clue what the money is? What's practice squad like? Anywhere from like 8 to 10,000?
God, yeah, something like that per week. I'd have to look it up.
What would prorated minimum? What is it? 16? Is it $550,000 in the NFL? Something like that. So you got 16 or 17 weeks. So you'd be looking at a little over $30,000.
Yeah, I think I'm with Mark and LV. I'm with Mark and LV on this. I put 1,000 to see it happen. We can turn this into a fundraiser.
Wow, up to 1,000, huh? Already got 700 from the show. Now Adam gets to play an NFL game for just 1,000. Well, he gets to walk the sideline. He ain't playing.
I get paid too.
Yeah, it's not for him.
Yeah, I'd get a league minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. The lookout block.
This actually does remind me of a pretty funny, one of my only funny moments from my high school football career. Yeah, you did say David. It is Derek. That is a tricky one. I focus every time I say it. I'm like, Derek, and I've been around him every day for 3 years now. Our coach got furious at us, and he said, "You're running a screen pass until it works," because we were so bad at it. And so we ran it like the first 7 plays of the game. We ran it, and it was just a total failure. But if you've been a lineman in a screen pass, or if you've watched football, like you pretend to block, let the guy go, and then leak out to lead the pass catcher. And so we're running it. My dad is screaming at me, "You've got to block! You've got to stop!" I'm like, "It's a screen pass." He's like, "It's not a screen pass every play." I'm like, "We're running a screen every play. We're doing it until we pull it off." It was great.
Dad in the stands going ape shit.
Yeah.
My son sucks. He can't
Block
somebody.
Block somebody. I'm like, all right, I'm trying.
I'm actually this is a good line by Treason ODB with the Adam Hillsman elevated from beat reporter to left guard. I'm shocked knowing your dad, knowing Kurt, that your dad would be a vocal dad in the stands at a sporting event for his kid. That shocks me.
I think it was just like that was one of the few times.
It's 7 missed blocks in a row.
Yeah. He was like, "What?" He was like, "What's going on? What are you doing?"
Who's more open to critical analysis from dad? You or Ryan Carl?
I'm gonna say me.
I know the answer.
I'm gonna say me.
Yes.
But also, yes. But I will say, like, you do, to tell that story, you kind of do need an explanation of what a screen pass is, right?
Yeah.
Like, some people might not know what that means.
Yeah. No, that's good. Cofield, was your dad vocal in the stands?
Not at all. You know what? He coached 1 year. Maybe he coached a couple of years. He was actually an assistant coach on a team when I was 14. And like, you know, the kids then are getting pretty big, and my dad's not much bigger than I am. But there was a guy on the team. His name was Tom Sylvia, right? And he was a pretty big kid for like 14, and he was being a dickhead. And my dad was like, "All right, enough," and fucking stepped to him. And I was like, "Oh shit!" Like my dad's gonna get
beat up by a 14-year-old.
I don't know if he would have got beaten up. I think my dad's had a couple of scraps here and there. Like I told the story last week about road rage and that he commuted forever and he had a wrench under the seat. So he was prepped. I mean, I don't think he was gonna. The problem, the kid was being an asshole, and it was just time. Like because my dad's he's I'm not gonna say meek, but he's a quiet guy. So when I saw him do that, I was like, all right, like time and place. He did it because he had to do it. But the answer to your question is my dad was never like a super vocal guy, so not that way. Was not a coach or anything. So, but he should have been. I would have been much better. Like, right? Don't you always blame that? I would have been much better if my parents drove me, or maybe I would have been much better if they just left me alone. There's always some complaint.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it goes either way. Like my dad was my wrestling coach from my whole life. So after a while, you know, when I was out on the mat, like I could hear him. Like I was trained, I could hear him and nobody else. But for the most part, like it gets tough when your dad's your coach and pushing you at that kind of stuff all the time year round. It can get tough.
This is a good point for Mark and LV with the butcher shop background. My parents walked away from that out of business butcher shop with a lot of equipment. He probably had the wrench under the seat and a whole fucking knife set in the trunk, like ready to get.
That's awesome.
Dexter Cofield. He was taking drivers off the road and bringing them to a plastic room and cutting them up. I'll find that out a couple of years, right? He's sick. He's going. He's like, I got to tell you, I only took out 17 other drivers in road rage. You can find all the bodies here. All right, Dad. Gets a little creepy. Gets a little creepy. All right, I'm gonna share everyone up because we have Karen's in the news. We have to get to the debate. We're in a good mood right now, but I want to make sure we stay in the good mood. I got to punch up a video here. This is one of those mixed results videos. Like I was just talking about road rage with my father, and I'm not real good on the road. In fact, Justin actually bought me would you buy me the clown wig and the nose?
Yeah. You ever worn them?
Not yet.
It's time, man.
I should.
Everybody's back on the roadways now. It's busy out there. I
was doing some beeping. Actually, I had a great. Adam would have loved to have been in the car. I had a great beeping incident today. See if I can describe this accurately. So I'm at the light at Spring Mountain and Valley View, right? And I'm going to the west, and it's really backed up. Now there's a weed shop there, right? And there's a new building, like a new high rise, like really spectacular looking. And there's actually some good restaurants in there, but like residential, right? Well, there's a street that comes out there, and everyone blocked the street. So someone was trying to make the left. So I actually don't think the person has the right of way. They just picked the wrong spot. I mean, you're trying to make a left onto Spring Mountain, and you're not going to get there. The person sneaks out like just behind me, and the car behind me, we're in the left lane, is blocking this person from going, right? But they don't have to like back up. Like the person doesn't know the right of way. The person pulls out and just lays on the horn. I mean, just will not stop. And I'm like, all right. So I'm a car in front, and I'm just like, okay. And I just fucking, it was like, dude, it was like 45 seconds. And I actually thought about it for a second. I'm like, do I want this to be the moment that I just go officially postal? Should I, just take the car back up this way and just fucking ram him? Be like, you scared me. You scared. Now, there's no reason to do it, but it was such an obnoxious honking move by the person. I was like, I'm going to, because the person behind me is not going to counter. So I'm going to counter. And Adam knows part of the reasoning is the person honking might think that the person blocking them is honking, and I might be able to exacerbate the situation, even though I'm not involved, which would have been cool. Yeah. Is that bad? Does that mean I'm a psycho? A little bit.
A little bit on the roadways anyway. Yeah.
It's getting a little crazy. So here's a motorcycle. I'm sure some people have seen this. When I watched this, I thought we were going to have a road rage fight. So let's see what develops here.
Non!
Oh, shit.
Il y a un petit chat au milieu de la route. C'est une blague.
That's part about it. Can't understand what he's saying. Oh, shit. He's going to fight this person. Here we go! Road! Oh, wait.
Ouais. Non!
What the fuck?
Viens ici, toi. Viens. Qu'est-ce que tu fais ici?
That's great.
Oh. Loulou. Je sais pas. Moi, je le prends ici, mais malheureusement, je suis allergique. Mais bon, je peux pas le laisser là.
All right, someone translate.
Loulou, viens.
That cat looks terrified, by the way.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's crazy. The cat's just lying in the road. But I love that the guy's like on the verge of tears, stopping his bike. Stop.
Oh no! Oh no!
And they have this like reminiscent, like they're all meeting up together, like they just went through something tragic together. Like, yeah, all right, we did it.
That's tough. That's tough. So would definitely stop in the middle of the road to save a cat. Ryan Carl, the cat wanted to get back on. That's all. It was done. The little kid.
Let me kill myself. That's what I was here for.
That's the eternal fucking debate in my car when I'm driving, right? You see a stray cat or a stray dog, my wife, my daughters, stop, Dad, you have to stop. I'm a hard no on it all the time. I'm never going to give an inch on it because then I'll be stopping all the time. So I'm just like, nope, somebody else will get them, swerve around. Let's go. We got places to be. We got an itinerary to meet. Let's go.
All right. So let me ask you this question. When you do this, you're driving, so you get to look in the mirror. You get to look in the rearview mirror and see the dog or cat get run over. Do you tell the family, or do you just let it sit there?
I don't even look in the mirror, dude. Move on. Not my. There's a million other people out there who want to save the cats and dogs. They don't need me.
Yeah. Truth from Duluth chimes in. I'll stop for a dog. Yeah, I'm the opposite. I'm going to keep going. So someone else will get him. I'm with Justin. I might stop for a cat. I probably would. But going back to to me, one of the most effective things is just to lay on the horn. The cat will get freaked out and run. Might run into the lane and get hit, but
yeah, if you lay on the horn, he runs into the cross traffic and just gets smoked right in front of you.
Yes, everyone got it that it was French. No Karen talk yet, John. Not yet. All right. Well, that was a good way to start, right? It's a nice happy story. Okay. Second happy story. Good. What do you got?
No, I said good times with Mr. Sunshine at the late night.
We actually do a late night pod, not on the air. Second happy story, I think. I'm a little worried that Justin might crap on this. Adam wanted to know, how excited are you for Borat 2?
How excited am I? I'm looking for it. Yeah. It's gonna be the greatest.
All right.
Yeah, I want to see the head shirt get tucked in.
Actually, a lot of people are saying on Twitter right now, because it's out right now, that they kind of think that it was more of a tuck, or like a untucking for the microphone. And these are people that really didn't want it to be. So we'll see. I will be watching it as soon as we're done with this. I have to finish off a Rob Gronkowski feature, and then I'll be right to Amazon Prime to watch this. So I'm excited for it. I think it should be good. But I know that there is a lot of legal questions that arose from the first one. I imagine there's going to be a lot of legal questions arising from this one. Like, what is your, what is your way to come back at somebody if you are duped like this and made to look foolish?
I don't think there is a recourse. I mean, if he was filming this without your knowledge in a state that's a two-party state, you can get him there, but he's not going to be stupid enough to do that. He's going to know the laws and where he can do it in a single-party state.
At that point, like, you can, like, I mean, I guess it could apply to any contract law, right? Because it seems like the contracts are done absolutely under false pretenses. So the contract overrules what you believe the contract is, right?
No, that's not always true. So if I know that you think the contract means one thing, and I know the contract means something different, and I don't tell you that you're mistaken, you can back out of the contract. Now, if the contract doesn't say anything about what the purpose of the content is going to be used and is simply, hey, we're going to be videotaping our interaction, and you say yes, there's no mistake as to the contract because you're not contracting as to the purpose of the taping. Right?
Right. Yeah.
If you said we're taping this for like a news show, but it was going to be used to mock on you, then I think you would have a basis for action. But I just think that they've probably refined this down to the perfect contract.
Well, I mean, we've seen some of the contracts, and like there is some of the, the belief of, hey, this is for a Kazakh television station, or this is some European thing, even though it's not. I guess you could say it was. We just sold it to a big studio in Hollywood,
right?
So I mean, you could get around it in that way.
Sure, if it's an actual legal entity.
But if you're like, hey, we're doing this for some European production company, and even though you're really not, if you have a fake entity, is that okay? Like, I tell you I'm doing this for, whatever in Europe, and you're like, okay, cool, it's a documentary from Europe. All right, I'm going to sign. I'll be in it. I never intended to make it some company in Europe. I, of course, had to deal with the studio, but I have a pretend company in Europe that I'm like, yeah, this is what it's for.
Yeah, but if that shell company actually sells the rights to the LA or the Hollywood company, I don't see any problem with that. As long as it's a real legal entity who then passes it off. Are you guys hearing the echo that I got?
I just started like 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, mine's real bad.
How's that better?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, there we go.
Sounded better.
I'm going to hop out and hop back in. It's real bad for me.
It's real bad for me.
He's out.
So is there anything left for Rudy? I almost called you John. Adam, is there anything left for Rudy? Like if most people out there think, hey, he's right, then he really what lines would he sue along? Why would he sue?
Yeah.
If most of the public, if most of the public doesn't believe, that he was trying to go after. How old was she? Supposedly 15.
15, but that's the other thing people are saying that I'm looking at now, that there's no indication before. Like, they don't say anything about being 15 until after the scene is over.
Right.
So that would be the way that he would get around. He's like, if it's an adult and then after it's all over, like, wait, what were you doing? She's only 15. Like, wait, what? Where did that come from? So it's not like they say, hey, she's 15, and then he enters into a relationship with her or whatever. I mean, that's, again, I haven't seen it. I'm just going by what people are saying on Twitter now. People seem disappointed in the scene.
I don't even get how Rudy Giuliani was in the film.
I'm just going by what I'm seeing.
Why would an attorney agree to sign some sort of waiver?
Okay. Now you're not just joking.
What? The guy was a district attorney. He was
that was a long time ago. He's clearly lost his mind.
Federal attorney. He's lost the ability to freaking make a correct judgment on signing away his rights. I mean, doesn't that surprise you, Justin, that he actually agreed to be in it? He just looked at a waiver and he's like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, no, it doesn't surprise me.
Is that your
Because
Giuliani impression?
Because number one, he did criminal stuff, right? So, I mean, I'm sure he dealt with some white collar crimes and contract stuff, but he's also more of a TV personality now. And so signing off on waivers for appearances is probably fairly routine for him. Probably doesn't read it.
God damn, if I'm Trump, I'd be pretty worried. That's one of his attorneys he leans on, and the guy got duped by freaking Borat and Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah, well, the time to worry about Giuliani being your attorney was years ago and has continued on. So,
And I will listen to Trump's defense. I'll say this: he really didn't get duped by Borat on the Ali G show.
Trump did not.
No, he sniffed it out pretty quickly.
What did Ali G try to do?
I think he was trying to sell him products. Remember, one was like ice cream cone gloves. Where he's like, no, this is stupid. I'm not gonna be a part of this.
It's too smart, huh?
Yeah.
So speaking of mayors, did you see the story, Justin? New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio could deny the sale of the Mets to Steve Cohen because the billionaire's hedge fund pleaded guilty to fraud in 2013. The reason they can do this, or he could do this, is that Citi Field is built on city property, so the mayor could deny the sale.
Well, it's actually in the operating agreement too between the Mets and the city, which sounds like some good negotiation went on there. You know, the city retained some power for giving the land away, unlike, you know, local issues in which we retained like zero power.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. It says in there. I mean, the contract specifically says the mayor can block a sale. It's awesome. Good for them.
Do you think he has a reason to do it?
I don't know enough about the background to say, like,
yeah.
I would need to dig into the underlying case and the allegations to see exactly what the knowledge was before I would just say, oh, you know, there's news reports about this. You're done. You know, I'd want to know the particulars, and I'm sure he'll look into it.
All right. Should we go back to talking World Series like we did last night? You want to talk some baseball?
No.
I don't want to deny the audience. I feel bad sometimes. I feel bad.
No.
What audience? There's like nobody watching the World Series.
No, I meant our audience. Because last night
I
had a couple of old timers come in who used to watch, pay attention to some of my MMA coverage, and they were asking like, "Hey, what's going on? Why aren't you covering it?" And I explained some of the reasons. So actually, I wanted to bring it back tonight, Adam. If I think there's a couple of people in who would find this fight card interesting. It is an interesting fight card, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know Justin's interested. So
best card of the year, I think.
Yeah, which is very bizarre, and they also have said that they think it's one of the top selling of all time potentially.
Really,
which is insane that they're putting it on in the morning.
What time? What time should the main event go off? Our time.
I have to look again. I think like noon. Not like maybe 1.
Interesting.
Unless that's East. I don't even. That's the other thing. I think it's 11 Pacific. But it could be 11 Eastern. I haven't even looked. I'm not going to look until I actually watch the fights on Saturday, but it's crazy.
Right? We don't have to wait until like some delay, right? We get to watch it. You pay for the pay-per-view. Yeah, that's great. 11 a.m. I'm in.
Yeah, but how many people are going to be in that same boat though? I mean, it's cool with me. I'll watch it, but I think a lot of people are so used to watching fights at night and are conditioned to do it. It's a little different to like, especially if you're going to have a party, like invite your friends over and have a beer and pizza. Like, hey, come on, guys, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. Let's go.
Oh, that's why. Yeah. So I saw that Naked City Chris had sent out a tweet offering to come up with some breakfast specials.
Okay.
And so that makes sense now. So he's going to do it at Office Bar he was talking about on Saturday. Yeah, the pay-per-view is listed. I just looked up how to buy it. The pay-per-view is listed as starting at 11 o'clock Pacific, so a.m., which... I don't know, man. Tough time. College football. Big Ten's opening. I have to get my weekly Saturday dose of have my balls squeezed. So, not literally, but watching my football team get destroyed. So I don't think I can walk away and pay $65 to watch a Gaethje and Khabib, but maybe we'll see.
It's a pretty loaded card anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Well, I mean, first of all, that fight on its own is going to be incredible. But you've got like Robert Whitaker is on the card, former champion, and a basically a pick'em fight against Jared Cannonier, which I think should be really good, and it tells a lot about where Robert Whitaker is right now. Walt Harris, I'm really interested in seeing because he was, a guy that went through such an emotional fight last time, and there was so much talk about, him fighting just a couple months after the murder of his daughter in a very public case that was just horrific and awful. And he came out and fought so well for the first couple of minutes and then just ran out of gas. So what does he do now a couple months later when he's kind of gone through some quiet time, reflected on everything he went through, and now trying to come back and rebuild his career a little bit against Volkov? I mean, it's some good fights on there. Now, it's not one of those fight cards where you're like, wow, there's 7 former champions on this fight card. It's not like that, but I think the matchups are intriguing, and I think the main event is massive enough you wouldn't even need anything else on the card, but you've got a couple of fights that I think people are going to be interested in watching.
All right. I'm going to bet this looks like a crazy low price to me. You can get, let's see, Khabib as low as 332. I actually see a minus 310 and a minus 305. That seems like a joke to me.
Yeah, I think it's
Gaethje's going to stay off his back against Khabib.
Yeah, it's about as bad a matchup as there is for Khabib, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because Gaethje just doesn't, for lack of a better term, to break it down technically, just doesn't give a fuck. So you can do it. I mean, he will stand in there. I think he can fight down a takedown or two. He doesn't wrestle. He hasn't tried a takedown as a professional, I don't think. He definitely hasn't in the UFC. But he was an all-American wrestler. Like, he was a pretty high-level wrestler. He just doesn't use it. Right. So I think he has enough defensive wrestling, not to thwart Khabib. I don't think he's going to fight off takedowns the whole time or even, score a takedown and win the takedown battle. But if he can fight off one or two and get the fight standing a little bit, Khabib will then – he'll use how much you're defending takedowns to land strikes on you and then wear you down and then take you down again. That's what he does. But Gaethje will be like, good, hit me 3 times. I'll hit you 12. I don't care. He'll just throw punches all day. So I do think his ability perhaps to – now, again, if you tell me the fight's pick 'em, I'll bet $1 billion on Khabib probably. But at where it is, at over minus $3 on Khabib, I think there's enough of a path to victory that at least makes Gaethje interesting.
Gaethje, I was going to say Gaethje actually made the 2010 NCAA tournament, finished 7th. I think you finished top 8. You're All-American, so he was a really decorated high school guy. That all said, I'm still betting Khabib. So
yeah, well, and the thing about Gaethje is he was an All-American at Northern Colorado, so he's at a school. It's D1 because they're basically all wrestling's D1 now because they don't have enough programs to go around, but he was the first All-American in Northern Colorado in 40 years. So, I think that even speaks to the higher level of wrestling that he has to get to be an All-American, not having a competitive room to train with at that time. But to Adam's point, he hasn't used it very much. He hasn't used it at all in his UFC career, but it's not like something you forget. And so if he's been working on, I'm sure he has, his takedown defense during the lead up to this fight. I totally agree with Adam's analysis 100%. If it was a pick 'em, I'm betting Khabib. But at, over 300, then I think there's value there.
All right. It's 340, so I'm going to just bet now. I'm
not even making the case that he's, got some great shot or anything. I'm just saying he's got the path. And I don't see that often I don't think I've ever even in breaking down Nurmagomedov fights in the past, I don't even think I've ever considered that he could lose.
You love him more than anyone since you've loved probably Arlovsky.
I did love Arlovsky.
You never guaranteed that Arlovsky was going to win every fight. Every time we bring Khabib, you're like, no one in the world can beat him. He's impossible to defeat.
Nurmagomedov was 3-0 in the UFC and had fought nobody.
Right.
And I think I said I'm ranking him number 1 in the pound for pound. And people were like, "What do you?" He's not even in the top 10 at lightweight. I was like, "I don't care. He's the best fighter in the world. He just is."
Here's the thing. I was looking at at Khabib's history. He hasn't faced anywhere close to an elite level wrestler before. So I just wonder, he makes those takedowns look easy, and he's got confidence in them, and he gets them just about every fucking time he tries, but he hasn't gone against anybody who has any elite level wrestling to try to stop him. So yeah, I'm really interested in the matchup, and I hope they make it a good fight. But yeah, again, I mean, I would bet Khabib if it was a pick'em for sure.
I'll back your take on this with this as well. That I think as wrestlers get older, and a guy who feels like he's dominant, sometimes they will be willing to go away from the wrestling and be like, "Yeah, I can beat you at your game. I'll stand with you. Come on, go ahead and blast me in the face." Right? And he did it against Conor. He threw with Conor until he finally decided that was enough. So I'm not saying it's like a boring fight or not, because Gaethje's a zombie. So anytime you got a zombie in there who's willing to just walk through people, of course it's going to be it'll be an intriguing fight. I mean, I still believe if Khabib wants to take him down, he can take him down at any point. But
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, Adam, can you recall who's the best wrestler that Khabib ever fought in the UFC?
I would say I'm actually going to try to look at it. It was like off the top of my head, I would say like Michael Johnson, I think, was a junior college national champion.
Let's see. Poirier, McGregor, Iaquinta, Barboza, Michael Johnson.
I think the best.
Didn't he fight Kamal Shalarus?
He fought Kamal Shalarus, who was pretty high wrestler.
I think he was an Olympian, right?
Yeah, he was first Iranian Olympian yet.
Yeah. So I mean, but again, and that was a long time ago. But I mean, you're right. There hasn't been a lot of them.
I like Vitaly Ostrovsky's wrestling and also Aldarov's wrestling.
Okay.
I thought he was a Greco-Roman Olympian though for Iran, wasn't he? No, he was freestyle. I mean, it's a big difference, right? If you've never had to protect your legs and never had to stop a takedown on your legs, it's a totally different sport. So
I was always pretty good Greco, not freestyle.
There you go.
Strong body.
Well, no, see, I think the opposite with you. See, it's like we get the short legs. You can't get in on them. You get quick to the mat with the sprawl.
This is the worst wiki write-up ever. What's going on here?
On who?
You're not going to put Kamal Shalarus. He represented Great Britain.
Oh, well. There's one. Okay. I mean, fuck. Great Britain
that
wrestling?
Doesn't count?
Does that
No. No. That's like me representing New Zealand in track and field. It's like, it's just, no. Iran is a real deal, of course. They're a powerhouse.
Yeah.
They're a powerhouse in wrestling, but in international wrestling. But Great Britain is not on the fucking map for international.
Boning up on our knowledge of fighters we saw 7 years ago.
I mean, when I looked at the list, the one that kind of caught my eye is Dos Anjos. He's a grappler, he's a BJJ, but he had awesome takedown defense in the fights that he's won, and he fought some real wrestlers, but Khabib ran through him.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember that fight. I'm trying to think of the fight. God, there was a fight at like the Palms where I think he had like 14 suplexes, and I was just like, all right, this is insanity. You're gonna murder this dude.
I don't know, man.
It might have been Gleason Tebow.
Don't you think though, if Gaethje can keep him on his feet, that Gaethje has the advantage on the feet?
No, 1,000,000%.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think he's got the skill set that if he's really working on it, that I do think he could stuff shots.
Well, this doesn't make me feel good.
What happened?
Everyone I know is betting Justin. I might be off.
Oh, I thought they were betting on me.
I don't know. I punched that up earlier. That's why I was pumping my fist earlier. I'm like, yes, okay. If everyone's on Justin Gaethje, then yeah, give me Khabib. Do it.
I will not take 50-1 on the draw. Yeah, I'm not going to take that.
Why not?
Just hoping for a fence grab or something. I also don't think Gaethje can win a decision. Like, I think if it goes 5 rounds, it's not particularly close.
Why?
I mean, I think if you give me 5 rounds, at some point he's like, Gaethje does have. I feel like if it's like mid third round, he's going to start getting taken down at will, and he'll probably get grinded out.
But
I
that's
just
what I'm
think-
saying. If it makes it 5 rounds, I'm assuming he's not getting Khabib's not getting the takedowns. That's the only way it goes 5 rounds.
Right? Yeah, but no, I think it could be like 2 rounds of Gaethje fighting off takedowns and landing some shots. He's got to try to find a way to knock him out. And I think you have seen him be wobbled before. Like you haven't seen him knocked out. Obviously, he's never lost, but you've seen him wobbled. And I think if you can land a couple, Gaethje's got knockout power against anybody. So I just think if you thwart enough of them and land enough shots, you could get a knockout. But if it gets to like third round, now I think Nurmagomedov just takes him down over and over again and wins a decision. If that's what happens, if it goes that far, I think he just keeps taking him down. Maybe he doesn't finish him, but he wins a decision. But Gaethje does have the opportunity to stop enough of them to land some shots.
My only concern for Gaethje, though, is if he's stopping a lot of those shots, he's not going to be loading up on his punches like he normally does. I mean,
Right.
He is not in a defensive stance when he's fighting on his feet. I mean, he's not in a good wrestling defensive stance. So, yeah, he's got all that power, but if he's I mean, I still give him the big advantage on his feet, but if he's stopping takedowns, I think it's going to be a lot harder for him to knock him out. But I have the exact opposite approach. I think if it goes 5 rounds, that speaks well for Gaethje, because if he's getting taken down at will in the third period and on, the fight's going to be over. Khabib will finish him if he keeps taking him down and keeps him on the canvas the whole time.
I think Nurmagomedov could run like 14 marathons and just be like, I'll run another one.
I don't know. When's the last time he went the distance?
That Iaquinta fight, which he didn't try to finish.
Right. Well, yeah, that wasn't. Yeah, that one doesn't even count. It was like a cat playing with ball of yarn.
He went the distance a bunch of times when he first came into UFC. So
those are three rounds though.
Yeah, he had.
Yeah, not 5.
He had 3 fights in a row with Trujillo and Pat Healy and Dos Anjos. Went the distance, but I get your point.
Yeah.
Let me punch up. I got to punch up another sports story, and I just want to see if anyone else thought the same exact thing that I did when you initially saw this. I'll just leave it at that. NBA probably back in January. They've got an issue with Toronto. Can't get teams into Canada. Here's the idea to fix things for at least 3 or 4 months. Anyone else think something about this? Louisville's KFC Yum Center has been considered as a potential alternative location for the Raptors to play next season. Currently, travel from the U.S. into Canada is banned due to COVID-19. Any issues here?
What, the local strippers?
I don't know. If you build much of your protest and you're speaking out in the bubble around Breonna Taylor, do I have the wrong city? Is Louisville not the city?
Maybe that's why they're going there.
Oh, so it's take the high road. Let's go and educate. Because I'll admit I'm more vicious. I would never do fucking business in Louisville.
Huh?
Or do you expect them to hit the ground and they're like, hey, we're going to work with the community. Let's make things right. Let's try to fix things. Let's try to make progress by being there.
I would imagine that's the plan.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not like the people of Louisville weren't up in arms about it. I mean, why punish the people in Louisville?
Were they all up in arms about it? I mean, you can't say that about any area in a controversial situation.
I didn't say they all were, but I mean, they had protests and they had, I'm kind of with Adam on this one. I guess I think they could use it as an opportunity to spotlight the issue.
All right, there you go. That's why I bring these things up. Can we bring in a Karen?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, I don't know, Justin. Sometimes you're apprehensive. If you're not in a mood, I don't want to get you in a bad mood. Man.
I didn't watch it yet.
We'll try to get this working, but basically it's a setup. It's in San Diego. Headline here is white woman caught on video yelling obscenities at a black Starbucks barista over face mask. It's about what you'd expect. We got subtitles on this puppy, so that'll help. Let's see if we can get it going here. This could be a big disappointment. I try not to run videos straight to websites, but let's go.
Sunday afternoon at a Starbucks on North Magnolia and Santee. 19-year-old barista Alex Beckham says the customer in blue pulled down her Trump 2020 mask to ask a question.
Oh no, the drama. Keep going. Come on now.
Your computer's like, I'm not playing these videos anymore.
The funny thing is, I did watch it earlier. It turned into the
Beckham
same.
says she asked the customer to put the mask back on, which she did before becoming agitated and taking it off again. That's when another customer says he started recording.
Listen to anything you say when you talk to me like that.
Told her that just to make sure that when if she ever were to come back, to make sure that the store and the customers were protected.
Moments later, the customer serves up a different motive.
No, it's because you're discriminating against me because I'm a Trump supporter. Okay, sure. Black Lives Matter.
If she felt discriminated against because she's a Trump supporter, that's on her. That's not my fault. I never brought any mention of her politics.
Quickly, the customer becoming more upset.
No, it's not a law. It's not a law. And I can show you the penal code and everything. It's a hoax. I don't have to wear a mask. I'm not going to wear a mask.
So here we go again with the law, lecturing someone at a private business. I'll show you the law.
The penal code.
Yep.
And I'll show you it's a hoax.
It's America. I have to do what you say. Excuse me, you're in 2020. You need to leave. Thank you.
Fucking A.
Have a good one.
The customer isn't quite done yet.
Black Lives Matter.
In Beckham's words, this is her first,
And left with a fuck Black Lives Matter after going Trump 2020.
quote, crazy Karen experience in 3 years as a barista. She says she isn't surprised.
I'm from a place that's really conservative, and I've been racially targeted my whole life here. So it's kind of like a normal.
But Beckham says this incident is not okay. She posted it on social media and it went viral, some 2 million views in a day.
I feel like it's really important to show people that this sort of behavior should not be normalized and should not be acceptable.
Michael Chen, ABC 10 News.
Thanks, Mike.
Why is he using that fake news voice?
It's what they do.
I was more trying to place which Starbucks that was in San Diego.
Santee, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you think? I mean, there's no crime committed or anything there. Why did the news channel blank out the face of Karen?
I don't know, probably just out of abundance of caution, right? They don't want to get sued, but even though it would be a bullshit lawsuit, they just don't want to deal with it.
I wonder if Starbucks is happy that made it to local news. You think the employee asked for permission to participate in the story?
Well, I think they came off well in it.
Yeah.
She handled herself well. She didn't get irate. She just,
How hard would it be to make an anti-Karen law?
I don't know. Yeah. Karen, I didn't know it was spelled with a C all this time. I thought it was Karen with a K.
It is.
But
It's Karen.
Karen with a C.
No, it's Karen,
isn't it?
What's that?
I think it's an acronym, right? The CA.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm just teasing. Yeah,
So
I don't remember
San
what
Francisco, what did they come up with here, Justin?
So they passed a law that makes it illegal to call 911 under false pretenses for the purpose of attempting racial discrimination, racially charged complaints. Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, if this were to be challenged constitutionally, it's going to be a little tricky because I think who decides what a racially charged complaint is and what that looks like and how they get charged is going to be a little bit hard for enforcement. And if there is a law that's difficult or impractical to enforce, a court can strike it down.
Adam, questions?
Well, I mean, this is something that has to be reported, right? It's like this lady wouldn't matter. It's just if she called and tried to report something against the Starbucks girl.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But then it has to be racially charged, right?
Would the case of the white woman and the African American man in Central Park with the dog, where she's on the phone and she's being filmed and she's saying the man is threatening me, was that? And she didn't use a racial slur. I think she just said a black man or an African American. Would that be enough?
Yeah. See, that's where I think that this is hard. The one that came to mind for me was the lady in the park, the original Karen, who with the dark sunglasses, and I think she was using racial epithets as part of her complaint process, although she didn't do it, I don't believe, on the 911 call itself. So again, I think this might be more publicity than actual effectiveness, but I'm also not on the receiving end of the 911 calls. Maybe it's a real problem. I don't know.
So it's a start.
Maybe.
Could you ever? Yeah, she was actually Barbecue Becky.
Oh, I thought she was the original Karen.
Yeah, I think she is too, or at least the one that got blown up the most. Let's see. Because she was real feminine, right? If I recall.
Yeah.
Not so much. Now I'm jonesing to find the picture of her because I have the picture of the photo kind of stuck in my head.
She's not old enough for you.
Let's see.
Is what these people do, like the lady at Starbucks, isn't that harassment of some sort?
What did she do that was harassment?
Well, first of all, made a false claim that she was being, profiling her political beliefs, but just the getting in your face and screaming and accusing you of being,
I think
discriminatory.
In the spectrum of Karens, I think she was much tamer than the rest. I didn't see any in the face screaming. I didn't see any violation of personal space. Her saying you're targeting me because I'm a Trump supporter. I mean, what she has a right to her own opinion. Right? I don't see anything wrong.
And I was just using this because we just watched it. But in a case where you're in the face of an employee screaming at them about the law and you can't do this to me and you're doing this because of fake numbers and data and just general harassing of you, I feel like there should be something wrong with that.
Well, the minute they ask you to leave and you don't leave, there's already something wrong, right? Okay. You have already now committed the crime of trespass. So what is said there, I think, is of little importance.
Okay.
For the most part. But I think in the COVID world, invading somebody's personal space without a mask, we've talked about that a number of times. I think that could open yourself up to an assault charge.
Just put a stop to this. If we'll get to the debate in a little bit. If Biden just gets a chance to, even if screw the debate part of it, just with all that money he's got, if he just puts out some sort of anti-Karen suggestion of legislation in the future, how many millions of votes is he going to gain from that?
I don't know.
I'm not saying pitch the death penalty for Karens, but life in prison.
I will.
I will. Too much, huh? All right.
No. Could I ask about a different thing that just entered my mind that somebody asked me to ask about?
Of course.
I don't know if you're trying to go a different direction. All right. So I want to be careful about this because it is a specific question. So I don't want to get too much into the detail. Say you're an employee at a company. Your coworker does something really, really dumb. And because your coworker does something dumb, your coworker gets sued and the company gets sued. And goes out of business because of the lawsuit.
Okay.
Ooh.
Can you then sue that employee that fucked everything up for everybody?
Yeah.
As I'm now out of work. I lost out all this revenue because you screwed it up for everyone.
If I lost my gambling talk show host job, I would be livid. I have no idea what you're talking about, but
I think that is unlikely. I don't think that a co-employee has a legal obligation to protect your job. Right? So let's start there. Do I have a duty to protect your job? I don't. Now, if one of the officers of the company, right, did something and you were a shareholder of the company, then yes, you've harmed me and you had a fiduciary duty to protect my and the company's best interest, and what you did was wrong. But as far as like, we're just a couple of employees and I'm a dumbass and you're the smart guy and I do dumbassery things and get us all fired, I don't think that you would have a claim there unless I was specifically doing something with the intent of trying to get you fired.
all right.
If I'm trying to get you fired, then I can be sued for intentional interference with prospective economic gain, meaning I am trying, it's the legal version of C blocking you in the money making world, in the marketplace.
All right. Developing story. I think there's going to be a lot more out of that
Sure.
unknown case that Adam's talking about.
Yeah. Hypothetical.
Jose jumps in. I mean, this is hard to judge Jose just off of what you're saying, but he was asking Justin about sexual harassment in the workplace. He says, I filed a sexual harassment complaint on my store manager, and I have my assistant manager to back up my claim. Am I good?
No fucking idea, right? It's case by case. Facts are important. What the alleged sexual harassment was, how pervasive it was, how frequent it was, all of those questions are important for the determination of whether or not it created a hostile work environment. Yep.
Right.
And I'll just say this.
Yeah.
You see the movement socially on the issues of how to treat employees, Me Too, sexual harassment. You see all of that out there in the world, in politics, in movements. It has not, as of yet, entered into the legal side of things. So you say, hey, man, Me Too, like you can't do this. And the law's still written prior to Me Too, and there haven't been any significant shifts for that to be different. Okay, you have text documents, and I don't know Jose, I don't know what the texts say, and I don't know what the store manager is backing you up on. Right?
And what relationship you have with the assistant manager that could lead them to back you up.
Yeah. So I mean, is the manager asking you out on a date? Is the manager grabbing your ass? Is the manager making lewd comments? Is the manager, talking, dirty to you? I mean, all of those things matter.
I'd call 570-9000 and see if Justin can point you in the right direction. That's what I would do. Seriously.
Yeah. Jose says he was told a sexual comment on the floor with reps there about his life and his wife. Still, not enough detail. I don't know what a sexual comment is.
Don't call right now. But
yeah.
definitely give a call. Then Justin can tell you, for more details and maybe, what direction to go in.
Yeah, for sure.
The best time to call Justin is between 1 and 4 a.m. That's when he does his best work.
His essential sleeping to play golf, right? He's a busy man.
Right.
Busy man. Again, we don't have all the details on this. Thanks, Jose. This feels like a Pitbull-like situation, right? I don't mean the singer, the rapper, the hip-hop artist. Colorado woman's pet deer. Wait, what? Colorado woman's pet deer gores neighbor, threatens wildlife agent with bloody antlers. I mean, wouldn't, like I said,
deer threaten the agent or the person.
A deer that a Colorado woman raised from fawn to buck had to be euthanized after it attacked and gored her neighbor on a walk last week. 73-year-old Tanette Housley issued 2 misdemeanor citations connected to the illegal keeping of wild animals. The unnamed victim from a hospital bed told the department that she was surprised to notice a deer following her and then shocked when it attacked, knocking her down and thrashing her with its antlers. I mean, this sounds very much like that's not why I brought up the story. We don't want to hear the bear cracking the deer's back again. Or does this actually apply when a deer is thrashing a woman?
Is that the woman? That's the woman now.
Her. That's her.
That's the deer in ecstasy. As the deer's like, I've wanted to do this for so long. You people.
So
I mean, how responsible are you for your pets, even if it's a deer?
So there's a difference. So domesticated pets, non-wild animals, non-exotic pets. Generally speaking, you're gonna be under what they term in law school the 1 bite rule. Basically, if you know that your animal has propensities for violence and then it commits violence against somebody, you're going to be responsible. But it's basically impossible to prove that somebody knew of the violent propensities of their animal unless they've done it before. So like once you got them on 1 bite, then you go, well, they already bit the one person, so you knew they were violent.
Could you show the video? You could show the video in court.
Show what video in court? Oh, right. So if it's a wild animal or an exotic animal, they have what's called strict liability. Most states, and I'm assuming, I'm going to just make an assumption Colorado's going to have strict liability on this because keeping of wild animals is illegal. Clearly, she got a misdemeanor for it. That means if you have an animal that is wild or exotic or non-domesticated by species, not that specific animal, and they hurt somebody or damaged property of somebody, then you are liable. There's no other questions asked. So you don't have to prove that you knew anything or that they were violent or how great of a pet they were. You are responsible.
What happens if your somewhat domesticated deer is tied up at a Starbucks and that Karen gets out of control and the deer just decides, you know what, it's go time?
Then the deer's providing a valuable service to all of us, and we should all look the other way.
Is the deer then deemed an anti-Trumper? And I don't know. What would the Trump supporter then scream at the deer?
Okay, for real. See, but what you're saying is you're automatically guilty if you're keeping something you shouldn't be keeping.
Yeah.
That's the
or even if you're keeping something with a proper licensure.
Because my question would be like, if I have an animal that I'm not supposed to have, but I do have some like real like special relationship with it, like we bonded.
What does that mean?
The deer like does look out for me because the deer knows me, likes me, and somebody attacks me,
right? And the deer defends you.
And the deer defends me.
Yeah, no.
I mean, the deer is looking out for me. I'm the owner. He loves me.
No, there's no other questions. So like, there's no other questions asked. It's strict liability. You don't get to present anything. The only defense you would have is I'm not the owner and I'm not in possession and control of that animal. Not my animal, so I'm not responsible for it. But it would apply even to animals that you legally had. So let's say like Siegfried and Roy, one of their tigers, jumps the fence, or I don't know how the fuck. They get out, they run across the street and maul a person. Strict liability. Even though they legally own the cat.
If somebody had a deer and it bothered me, I didn't want them to have it, and I just went and brought a bear to attack their deer.
Your domesticated bear.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, they're not supposed to have that anyway, so I'm fine. It doesn't matter if I get a bear to eat your dumb deer.
I think you're both going to get charged with misdemeanors.
Worth it.
Worth it. I hate that deer. That theoretical deer.
I don't know how Justin Watkins does half of the show. I don't know. Justin has deemed that Where'd you have the RJ Hockey Podcast about 9th on your local Las Vegas list? You love Sinbin. Sinbin had the story the other day about the 4th jersey, the 4th VGK jersey. I think I was pro mustard jersey. Everyone else was kind of unhappy with the, what is it called? Is it metallic gold? What is it officially called?
Oh, it's terrible.
I like it.
Have you? Sorry. Go ahead.
Not good.
Yeah. So I originally, when I saw the gold jersey, when they put out the tweet and the picture, I was like, I'm out. I hate that fucking jersey. But then when I saw the actual shimmer to it, when I saw some videos of people wearing them in person and how like bright and obnoxious it is, I'm totally in. Like, I want the whole arena in those jerseys just being as Vegas as possible. I'm out on this jersey.
What?
I'll tell you why I'm in. Do you have the other side or no?
Yeah, 1 second.
Because the Starburst?
Yes, the good logo. They're finally using the good logo on something.
I'll say on this one, the RJ had the better photo of the jersey than Sinbin had on it.
Adam, did you on the graphic? Did you put Review Journal on the back?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
Because we're media.
Sinbin's media.
Is this true? Did you already get some calls?
Now has a new pet on pet violence clients lined up.
Yeah, people are already calling up. No, you have a bunch of pet on pet violence clients lined up.
Oh, pet. Okay, I wasn't reading that right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
That's the better logo.
I need to see what that red actually looks like in person, because that red doesn't look great. But neither does that gold or that gray or that black.
What about the throwback to the Thunder? I like the nod to the old franchise.
What, with the chevron at the bottom, the chevron shaping of the piping? Yeah, that's cool.
It's a V.
Yeah, I like it. I like that part. But I need to see the red, because that looks like some sort of rose-colored red. I don't know. I don't love it, but I'm all in on the gold jersey. It's just a matter of who I'm going to get. I think I'm going. So the only jersey I own is the traditional. It's the steel gray or whatever the fuck it's called, and I've got Carlson for that one. I don't have a white jersey. Gold, I think I'm going Theodore.
Get a red Leonard.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Look at how happy he is. He's objective though. Look at how happy he is. Get a red Leonard.
I'll get a red Leonard and a white Fleury.
Tears from his
You should. He's tweeting about Naked City Pizza. How could we not love him?
That's true.
One of the comments that was on the tweet of this was from a Barry. He said, now if we could just get a list of players that will absolutely not be moved for at least 5 years, I might dive back in.
Block that person.
Wait, say it again?
Block that person.
I thought you said F that person.
No, block them.
Justin, do you understand? Do you understand fans who are mad about the changes that some of the misfits have been sent to other places? Do you understand it? Because you're a true fan. Like, you pay for your tickets. You don't get free entry into the games. You're a true fan.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it sucks losing Schmidt. It sucks to see Fleury move on. But at the end of the day, I want an organization here in Vegas that wants to fucking win and tries to do everything they can to win. And, the Pietrangelo move, I try to look into the analytics, and I'm just starting to understand a little bit of the analytics that they use in hockey. I barely understand the basic stats, so the analytics are a whole nother level. But by all advanced metrics, top 5 defensemen, seems like they paid a little bit much for him. But fuck, man, they're going after him. They're in on every big name that's out there. And what more can I ask for as a fan than to have my team trying every time a big name hits the market? And they're always in. Vegas is always mentioned. I love that.
You're a big Corsi guy now?
So I don't know. I was on the what is the goals above replacement?
Yeah. The expected goals too.
Yeah. No, well, the expected goals is the goalie stat. The goals above replacement is like your contribution to the goals in the game.
Right.
And so Pietrangelo's numbers on all defensive analytics and offensive analytics for defenses players are off the chart. It's pretty amazing. I mean, his numbers are better than Hedman's.
Yeah, it was a good move. I mean, like you said, you give up a lot, but you want to win or not?
Yeah. And we got all these other owners out there that are trying to chase down to the floor, and we're bumping up against the cap. I love it, dude. At least he's fucking going for it. That's all you can ask for.
I would have said keep a defenseman and get rid of Fleury, but it's not the choice.
Well, but everybody's making that critique, but we have no idea what the price was that they were asking.
Sure.
Like, I mean, it's easy to say that, like, dude, you should have totally given up the first and dumped the $7 million. Well, what if they were asking for a first, 2 seconds, and a player? Like, we don't know what the asking prices were, or if anybody was even entertaining it. Seriously, So, I still think that Fleury could be a good starting goalie. I mean, if you're Carolina, it's worth a shot. But if all you do is look at his stats for this last year, then maybe not.
Look at that.
Nice.
Look at the shimmer. Look at the mustard shimmer.
That's great. Yeah.
You got the gold mask, though.
What?
You got a gold mask to go with it.
What, me or
you?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sorry, I went on the spectrum there with the what? What?
I'm so
Calvin.
Michael, where's Michael?
What? Treason does not like the jersey. I like it. It is Vegas. It is gaudy.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
I like when we own our cheesy gaudiness.
Yep.
Like the opening ceremonies, like total cringeworthy.
No.
Total cringeworthy, but it's total Vegas, man. Fuck it.
Don't get
Let's
started,
do it.
Adam.
It's not Vegas. It's medieval nonsense. Make it Vegasy.
That is Vegas, dude. Have you
Right.
not been to the fucking Tournament of Kings that's been around for 30 years now?
Yeah, I was there 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's Vegas, man. People still go to that shit. I'll tell you this. My in-laws came out. Did I tell this story? My in-laws came out for Christmas a year ago, and they're from New York City, and so my sister-in-law, her husband, and my mother-in-law, who's 83 now. Okay, we take her into the Golden Knights game, and my sister-in-law works for a law firm that has a box at the Rangers. Right, so there's been lots of hockey games, but we're going to take you to the Golden Knights. And we go in there, and they're like, okay, yeah, the next year we'll do Christmas in New York, and we'll get it into the box at the Rangers game when Vegas comes or something like that. We'll plan it out. I'll get the box. By the end of the game, so in that game they had 2 Cirque shows for both intermissions. They had the whole fucking ramp up for the introduction. They were playing the Kings, and afterwards, my 83-year-old mother-in-law is like, that is the greatest thing I've ever gone to. She thought it was fucking wild. And my sister-in-law and her husband were like, we're not going to take you to a Rangers game. After seeing that, you will not. It's a totally different sport. What you guys are doing here is not. It's not hockey, but it's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
hockey.
They loved it. They love it.
And that's what Adam doesn't get.
And I'll go one step further because I would agree that part of my critique is absolutely narrow-minded. The fact that it's not hockey, that you're needing to entertain people without actually watching the sport, all those things, like that's narrow-minded. I get that part of it. My argument would be like, and you have an example of somebody that came to the game for the first time, which is cool. But I feel like they think way too many people are going for the first time. Most of the people at the game are at the game every single game.
Okay. So
And you're just seeing that it's the same. Like now, you're like, okay, this is stupid. At some point, it's very stupid. Like the 4th time, you're like, this sucks.
Yeah, but if you go to every game, you don't need to be there for the intro every time. You
Right,
could be
but I'm
up
saying, but most people that go to games, right? I sit there and see the same faces.
Right.
It's
They
the
must
same
like it
people.
if they keep getting down there to watch it.
Well, some of them are going for hockey, not this nonsense.
I don't know. Not that many. I don't think that many are going for hockey. Dude.
It's actually true. Back to the Max Pacioretty line. There's not Las Vegas doesn't have hockey fans. It has Golden Knights fans.
That's right.
It's true.
All right. So what? You think Bill Foley cares?
Oh,
Right.
he does not care about a single person there. That's for sure. I promise you that.
He's making money hand over fist.
Yeah, he does not.
Look at
Does
that.
he care? Do you think he cares about the people in the stands? No, I don't. Absolutely, 100%. I do not. No.
So I asked at the beginning of the week on Monday how many people had voted, and we got some reaction from Sunday or Saturday, Sunday, Monday voting. People said lines were pretty decent. Couple of long lines. Adam, did you actually go vote?
I did.
How'd that go? Okay, I believe you voted, whether you had the sticker or not. I don't think
I
you
got
lied.
it. I got my sticker. That's all
Okay.
that matters. That's all.
That
Everybody
one-
goes for the sticker on Instagram.
Where did you go?
It's the parking lot of the Kohl's and Target on Blue Diamond, just west of 15.
I like that. Okay. Is there a Big Lots there? Is there a World Market there? All right. I know that place.
Definitely.
There's both of those.
Yeah.
No, not big. No,
Is
not
there a
big
Big
Lots.
Lots? There's a Kohl's and there's a Kohl's
Kohl's
and
and
a Target.
The
and
Big
World
Lots-
Market.
Big Lots further down.
PetSmart.
So, how long was the line?
About between 25 minutes and 30 minutes.
Oh, not bad.
I did play the game of who's everybody voting for, just kind of looking at them and trying to figure it out.
Why?
There was
Why would? First of all, why? I don't understand why you would do that. And what are the tells? How can you tell?
oh, you could tell. Oh, you could tell. For sure, you can tell.
This is the way I slug this.
Oh.
Judgmental clunt. Adam Hill tweets out, standing in line to vote, and I can't help trying to figure out who everyone is voting on or voting for. Based on appearance alone, this is totally normal behavior, right? I actually think it is sort of normal behavior, but I don't even know what you look at to make the judgment, because honestly, I'm thinking about it. I think less than 10% of the whites I know, I would believe were voting for Biden. I think 90% of the whites that I know, I would look at if I didn't know them and say they're voting for Trump. So what's the tell?
Well, I mean, that's the first one. That's the first thing you look for. I'll tell you this right off the bat. There's 3 anti-maskers there. Who do you think they're voting for?
All right, there's a chance. There's a chance, but like,
chance.
but they could be. They're likely on one side. Did you actually go through your head, try to be objective and think about what your friends look like, and then go, okay, I don't want to use the friends, but people you're around, and go, you know what? Like I would be surprised if they didn't vote Trump. You get what I'm saying? Like most of the people I know, I would like. Come on, Ryan McKinnell.
Well, that's part of the fun of the game.
Yeah.
Being wrong.
All right. Maybe I shouldn't get annoyed.
Yeah.
So big. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think everybody does it a little bit. You know, like you're gonna look
See,
for.
this is fair. This is fair.
If he looks
Yeah.
like Larry Wilcox, does everyone know who Larry Wilcox is? That's an old reference.
Wasn't he the white in Chips?
He's John. Yeah, he's John and Chips. Honcho
It's the
John.
white.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, we should play. You know, we might have to play this game later in the week. Maybe we'll just come up with a
It's
whole
such a
list.
fun. It's such a fun game. But you also you analyze everything about them, right?
Right.
If they're with somebody, you analyze who the person they're with, see the combination there. Maybe you would assume if they're going to vote together, they're probably voting for the same person. And here's the
Yeah.
other problem. And Kent, I'll be totally honest about this. It was way too bright out to be on my phone. And I was trying to be on my phone and I really couldn't, so I had to come up with a new game. So it was this. So yeah, it was a lot of this. And then you can also judge by people's clothes.
Yep, that's where I was going next.
Like, absolutely you can. Like, look if they have some sort of a T-shirt that represents a cause or something, you can absolutely tell. Or anything.
I was actually thinking about that because you can't go with anything that actually says Trump or Biden. And I saw there was I forget what state, a poll worker told people if they had Black Lives Matter shirts on, they had to turn them inside out, which is actually a violation. But you can't wear Biden or Trump. So if I go what I want to do is fuck people up. I want to confuse them. Like I want to go in a camouflage hat, flannel, but then underneath the flannel is a pro Kaepernick t-shirt. And then people are gonna be like, "Ah!" But will I be allowed to vote? Will I have problems at the poll, Justin, if I wear my Hillary Clinton lock her up t-shirt? She's not in the election.
She's not in the election, so technically you shouldn't have any problems.
Okay, good. That might be my choice.
I would. You guys want way more attention than I want. I put mine in the mail. But
I'm kidding. I would never wear that shirt. So
This is.
that's
Can we-
stupid.
can we-
I
can
do
we
wear. I
block
do
people?
wear. Say it again.
Can we block people?
Why, what's wrong?
Come on. That's the worst thing anybody's ever said.
Okay.
That's offensive.
Someone for the Hillary thing. Someone probably would. Oh my God. Someone would probably yell at me. Say something. Anyway.
Yeah,
I've got
I
other
think,
camouflage hats I can use.
you got to look at the attire. You got to look at the shoes. Any kind of jewelry on, any sort of expensive watches, those kinds of things.
What does that mean?
Well,
That's a Trumper.
So you gotta
Really?
you're going by the demographics, right? Like if you are white without a college education, then
That's a Trumper.
you're more than likely.
How do you judge that?
That's what I'm saying. You take some
That's
guesses
just-
based
that's just
on
fact.
yeah.
No.
Non-college educated. Oh yeah, but you can tell if somebody looks educated or not.
I mean,
You can't. No, you
Sure,
can't.
you can.
you could take some guesses. Come on, let's be honest here.
I pointed it out on last night's pod. Like one of the goofiest looking, drunkest dudes we know is one of the more highly educated, like filled with degrees guys we know.
Yeah, of course, there's going to be exceptions. You're playing the odds.
This is a game.
It's a
Also,
game.
we don't. You're also never going to be able to find out the answer. You don't get to ask people who they're voting for.
Right.
Can I take pictures when I'm in line and send them to you guys? Post them on Twitter and we'll all guess.
Yes,
Yes.
Why didn't you do that?
So,
I should have.
just don't catch any ballots in those pictures.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You can't take a picture of a ballot. But
Well, the ballots
You
are
don't-
inside. You're standing in line outside.
yeah, but some people might have a mail-in. Be careful.
Just so people know, if you go to that polling place, and I assume it's most of them, you don't have to like go find a drop box or whatever. You can go to the polling place with the mail-in ballot done. Go to the front of the line and just drop it off. You don't have to wait in line.
Right. Yeah, that's what. So that's what I'm saying. There's going to be still some people with mail-in ballots, I think. But the thing I love about that game is like I'm the opposite of that game. When I was serving up in the legislature when I first got up there, everybody thought I was a Republican before I even met anybody, right? And it's weird. Some of the conversations I got to hear that were
They're like, he's one of us.
yeah. Oh yeah. Like, some of my opinions about Carson City and race relations in this state are born out of conversations in which I think people thought, he's cool. We could say this stuff around him, just totally based on appearance.
Okay. I refrained from saying something, so I'll leave it at that. Someone was saying this would be good for the radio show, and no, this would not be good for the radio show.
No,
So
probably not.
our audience has become nothing against you guys, and
Oof.
our audience has become a little bit
By the way,
soft in terms of hearing both sides of things and dealing with criticism. And
should I answer this question or no?
Yeah, fire away.
I would say
Do it.
I think he's a Biden guy.
No fucking.
I would very much bet against that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I would bet against it.
Oh, one last thing, because I know we all want to get out of here. Or Justin does. Debate, big victory for Trump. What do you think? Is that 3-4 point swing? Big victory.
Probably.
Big victory. Big victory.
Nothing.
Big
No
victory.
movement. No movement
Big victory?
in the polls.
Mark says DJT won.
This election, if you believe the polling that's out there, is the most decided upon already election ever. It's something in the order of 90% of people are sure who they're going to vote for, and it's already done.
Yeah.
And it just I swear when they put on these like focus groups of undecideds, I'm like, bullshit. These people just wanted to be on TV. You're not undecided.
Oh, Ken Bone is still out there undecided. I think he voted for Jurgensen because he just wanted attention, of course.
Right.
To answer who was a question about McKinnell, no, what Steve was saying is McKinnell's obviously not voting for Trump. but he would look like a Trump. He would look like a Trump voter.
Well, I mean, he looks like he's part of the group that tried to take out the Michigan governor.
Right, of course.
Right?
Yeah,
like I actually, when he was on the other night, I was frantically trying to pull up some of those guys because basically they had like my haircut, but all shaved on the sides and these long beards. And I'm like, McKinnell just needs to. Well, he doesn't have hair on the top, so he couldn't do it. But like, if you profiled, you would think McKinnell was maybe right-leaning dude from the Midwest, who hates his governor and wants to kill her.
Yeah, and I think, and what Ryan's getting at, a couple of other people have said the same thing. I would say Biden won only because I thought it was pretty even.
Yeah.
And like it needed to be completely one-sided for anything to change. And it really
I'll tell you this, based on the early vote and the mail-in vote today in Nevada, it's gonna be I'm predicting it's gonna be a big victory for Biden.
Don't say that.
Well, it's based on data.
Don't dissuade people from voting. Everyone needs
to dissuade anybody.
Oh, that's voting. The kind of stuff that does. When people are like, my vote's not going to matter. My vote's not going to matter.
No, stop it.
You don't know the common.
That's overplayed. Stop
people don't have a lot of time. They may just say, hey, I've run out of time. What's the difference? Everyone's telling me it's going to be a landslide. Everyone go vote. We want a true result.
I didn't say
I want 150 million votes this year, at least.
No, I'm not talking about nationally. I'm talking about Nevada's already about a third of the people have voted.
Yeah.
They're going to vote. Already. We're way ahead of pace right now.
I don't think we're a swing state anyway.
I mean,
we are.
Technically,
we are.
If you're like all the pollsters and the predictors still have us as a toss-up state.
It was less than 2-point difference last time. It was under 30,000 votes, wasn't it?
No, 4, right?
No.
It was pretty one-sided.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 4%.
I know that won my friends a lot of money. I know that. Because if you guys remember how the election played out, all the early states were going to Trump, and he was heading to win.
Right. Yep.
And so Nevada moved from Hillary being a pretty big favorite to Trump being a huge favorite to win the state. And my friends that are live bettors, I was like, just like Justin just said, I was like, from what everybody has told me about the early voting, there is no chance that Trump wins Nevada. None. And Trump was he was a massive favorite in live voting. It
was over before Election Day.
Right. And that's what I told my friend. So he was like, I don't know, everything's going in that direction. The line has moved to Trump being a huge favorite. I was like, no, load up on Hillary to win Nevada. And he won big.
Yeah, you were pretty close.
I'm right. I actually
it was 3.
I do read 3%. Yeah, I do read the stuff. It was 47.9 to 45.5, so it was 2.4%, and it was 27,000 votes.
Yeah,
like that's not a lot of votes in the end.
It is in Nevada.
It doesn't feel like a lot.
27,000 votes that's a lot for Nevada.
But if voter turnout was 20% higher, then all of a sudden 27 doesn't feel as big. So.
Right.
Just everyone vote. Don't.
Yeah, everybody should absolutely
be
vote.
lazy. And that whoever you support, go out and vote, and feel good that you took part in the process, and then you can piss and moan if your person loses.
There's a lot of things
vote
on
down
the ballot
and vote. Yeah, we got important ballot questions. We got all the down ballot races are important. Vote on those. There's 60 fucking judicial races if you're voting in Clark County. I mean, I know it's hard to be educated on all of them, but vote on everything you feel comfortable with, man. It's important.
So my inner John King will say the Electoral College, if Trump gets Pennsylvania, Florida, Michigan, or Wisconsin, takes Ohio, then all of a sudden we got game on again. Right? Florida's gigantic. He's a little bit ahead in Ohio. Then you got Pennsylvania's real interesting, and that's I'm assuming, Adam, that's why Obama was there yesterday talking about what do he call himself? What was his nickname? It was Beijing Barry. Beijing Barry.
Yeah. I don't, and me and Justin were talking about Pennsylvania the other day. I don't necessarily. I'm gonna keep saying these things. I don't necessarily think it's that close.
You're a horse's ass.
I mean, the polls there in Pennsylvania have Biden somewhere between 5 and 9% consistently. There was like 4 polls that dropped in Pennsylvania yesterday. They were all 7, 8, 9, 10.
You guys did the judges on last week's Thursday podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Gil, I'll go back and I'll try to transcribe it at some point. I didn't get to watch it either, but
Well,
No.
I can send you-
I didn't go through each one of them.
okay.
Just either email me at justin@battleborn.vegas or DM me on Twitter and I'll send you my list. Or Adam's got my list too, and he's been distributing it as well.
Wow.
But if you have any opinions, or if you want opinions on Family Court, fucking tough shit. I only give my personal recommendations for the races and the judges that I know and that I work with. The only ones I said out loud on here was the important one, the Supreme Court, Ozzie Fumo, and then friend of firm, friend of show, friend of wife of husband that works at my office, Vita Yeager in Department 1.
I'll tell you, the only guy who really knows judges and is really educated is Ryan Carl. I like this line. I voted for judges who dismiss my cases.
That's awesome.
Hey, you know what? Hey, if you're gonna, in Ryan's case, that's his main concern. In other people's cases, are like, I'm fucking rich. Yeah, I want to vote for Trump. I want my money. So, Ryan's got his agenda. Dana White's got his. No different.
That's like when people are mad at like 50 Cent for being a Trump supporter. I'm like, he should be. Why are you mad at him? Like, if you're ultra rich, you should be. So I don't really have that much of a problem with it.
All right, we'll wrap on that. I'm sure we'll have some more election stuff next week, and then I don't know what the hell we're gonna do on that Tuesday night because I don't. Adam, are you gonna be in bed watching, or what are you gonna do?
It depends how it goes.
Exactly. Adam on election night is a nightmare.
I love fucking election night.
McKinnell's
Election
already
night's
bailed.
awesome.
McKinnell's out already. He's already bailed. That might be just Alex and I reacting.
Yes, truth and truth. It is Borat 2 time.
Sure.
And it's crazy. The last presidential election was when I was running. So,
Oh,
I won. Trump won. And I was like, fuck it, I won.
Selfish bastard. Yourself.
I was in New York. What a disaster.
Oh yeah, you were sad. That was one of the, I'm not going to say scariest shows. The Cofield and Company show after Trump won was one of the more challenging shows I've done my entire career because Taylor Byrne was in, and Taylor was in no mood to talk sports. And I remember Adam was like it was like you and Taylor, but more you. It was like 6 weeks of like I try to get into sports, and you're like, doesn't matter. Like you wouldn't say it on the air, but you're like, what is it? Like he lost all of his sizzle, all of his fight. He's like, doesn't matter.
Lost all faith in humanity is what it was.
I remember one day I got so ridiculous one day on the show that we were trying to talk about sports, and I was like, what does it matter? In 4 years, we're all going to be stuck in our houses. Everybody's going to be dying. Nobody's going to have a job. And I was right. It's insanity.